Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another video. Let's get into this crockpot recipe. I'm going to say this is like a white bean butternut squash chili. That's what we should call it, okay? So I personally am going to promote buying the pre-chopped squash because I hate peeling and chopping. I hate the feel of this. One, it's a lot of work. I don't mind cutting and chopping in my kitchen. I tell you guys this all the time. I actually really love working with my hands. But there's something about the squash. I don't like the texture of it. I don't like to mess with it. So I'm going to heavily promote buying the pre-chopped one. It's like twice as expensive. So if you don't mind messing with it, then that's fine. Next time I make a soup like this, I'm just going to get the pre-chopped one. Trader Joe's has it for like $4. Our Smith's usually has it for $5. Now, granted, this whole squash cost me like $1.65, but I don't know, like the seeds get everywhere, the inside gets everywhere. I don't like the way it feels, like it feels wet. I don't know, I just like don't like the feeling of squash. So anyways, that's why I added, you can get the pre-chopped one if you want to. But this was a good one. Another thing I'm always worried about is when I cut it open, it's going to be bad because there are some spots on the outside, but this was a pretty good one. Even though it's still really warm here, I was feeling like I wanted to do a chili this week, and honestly, it couldn't come at a better time because I started feeling under the weather earlier in the week, so I was like, okay, this is perfect. Obviously, this was not enough soup to last my under the weather self all week, so I did actually make more, and you will see those videos soon. I'll kind of spread them out throughout the week, or throughout the month, I should say, because I've really only been posting about one video a week. So thank you for being here and enjoying my content and my recipes. I do have a question for you. So I borrowed my crock pot out to a friend who was having like a big, I think it was for Super Bowl actually, a big get together. And so she asked for everybody's crock pots because she was making a bunch of things. Instead of people bringing food, she just decided she wanted to do it by borrowing people's crock pots. Totally fine. So, but when I got it back, it has like burnt on food and I cannot get it out. So you might see that later in the video. I have soaked it. I've actually ran it through my dishwasher. I've done everything that I can find on Google. But if you have a fail-proof way to get out burnt food out of the crock, please leave me a comment down below and let me know. Okay, so I actually love cutting and chopping. So this part, not so bad. It's the peeling of it because I don't know what oozes out of the peel when you peel it. It kind of feels like, I don't know, glue? Not even glue. Slime? I feel like the texture of squash is just so unique when you're cutting and chopping it. And then again, the seeds, don't love those. Is there something you could do with the seeds? I always just get rid of them. I know with pumpkins you can make stuff. I don't know if you can do that with squash. I should have looked, and then I should have used them because maybe you can eat them like you do pumpkin seeds. And I love pumpkin seeds. Obviously, this video is a little sped up, but this took me less than 30 minutes altogether to get into the crock pot. Cutting, chopping, peeling, all the things, opening the cans. It's really simple. And I put it on high for 6 hours. Now, you can also put it on low for, I would say, about 8 hours. Or you can just put it on keep warm for 12. My keep warm actually does technically cook because it does get to a high enough temperature. But if you wanted to, you could also pre-cook your squash or microwave, throw it in the oven to get it a little bit more tender and then put it on keep warm for just a few hours if you wanted to do that. So many different options. I'm obviously using the most basic ingredients, basic seasonings. Other things I would add to this is some minced garlic, maybe even some garlic powder, different seasonings you could add. Sometimes I will do my homemade chili seasoning, but I didn't have any on hand, so that's why I just use chili powder and cumin, as you will see, and just a little bit of salt. Very basic. I'm also going to serve this over high protein pasta, and you're probably thinking, wait, what? Chili over pasta is so good. One of my favorites. I know a lot of people do chili over rice. There is a place called Skyline Chili in Cincinnati, Ohio that does chili over pasta, but they do like a really heavy meat sauce over their pasta, and it's so good. Like, I remember having it in college. So I like to recreate my own like vegetarian style chilies and then serve it over pasta. And when I do a high protein pasta, it just adds more protein to the dish. You could also add, we thought about adding like plant-based meatballs to this. I say we because when I was shopping for this recipe, that's one of the things we were going to implement on it. We talked about it, me and my husband, but I decided last minute to just not, because I didn't know how they would cook in the crock pot. So we just decided to go with just the basic ingredients that you see here. After having this soup, I definitely think it would be really good with a variety of beans. You don't just have to do the white beans unless you want to. Great Northern beans would be really, really good. I also think a pinto or a chili bean would be good. Adding the chili beans that you can get with the chili sauce, I think would be amazing because it would just amplify the flavor. I am also just using the Fiesta corn that I did get in my last grocery store pickup haul. You can use regular corn too, but that had like green peppers and red peppers, I believe, in it. So it made it like Fiesta. So again, it just adds more flavor and depth to the recipe, which I really enjoyed. So I added the entire can of crushed tomatoes and then 2 additional cans of water. This seemed like enough for the soup to kind of bulk up the liquid a little bit. You could also use veggie broth if you wanted to. I make my own veggie broth. I just did not have any on hand because I had been using it for other soups throughout the week. I also didn't drain or rinse my beans. Typically I do. This day I honestly just didn't care enough to do so. So I just went ahead and dumped them into the soup as well. The liquid of the beans sometimes can mess with my stomach, but I thought this day, like, I don't care. So I just went ahead and added it as it is, but you can drain and rinse your beans if you prefer. Give it a good stir, add your seasonings, and then go ahead and put it on high or low, depending on what your lifestyle is when you want this ready. I went ahead and put it on high for 6 hours, so it'll be ready in the afternoon, since I did make it mid-morning, like between 8:30 and 9 a.m., so then I can put it on, keep warm, and then we can eat out of it for an early dinner. This was a really fun recipe to make. I love using our crock pot, especially on the weekends. I say this all the time, but I like to use it and utilize it for meal prep. So a lot of times we can eat dinner from our crock pot and then have leftovers throughout the week. So in my mind, it's like meal prepping because you get a fresh meal out of it and then you also get some for later in the week. I hope you really enjoyed this recipe. Please give me a huge thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, and I will see you next Sunday in a new video, if not before. Bye-bye.